Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare सब लोग जोर से बोलिए Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare सब लोग जल्द से बोलिए Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama.
Jaya Radha Samar Sundar, Radha Samar Sundar, Radhe Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balarama, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gordon Nitai, Jaya Gordon Nitai, Gordon Nitai, Jaya Gordon Nitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Bandamui Savadhana Mate. Bandamui Savadhana Mate. Yahara Prasare Bhai He Baba Tori Yahara Prasare Bhai He Baba Tori Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriya Aikya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriya Aikya Harna Koriyo Mane Asha Harna kori o mane asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Ye pasare pure sarva asha Ye pasare pure sarva asha Sagrana dilo ye janme janme Prabhu se Chakran dilo ye janme janme Prabhu se Devi gane re pokashito Devi gane re pokashito Prema bhakti ahoite avidya vindasayate Prema bhakti ahoite avidya vindasayate Vede gaya hara charito Vede gaya hara charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Arvajanara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Arvajanara Bandhu Lokena Lokera Jivana Lokena Lokera Jivana Prabhu Gaya Jaya Deho More Para Jaya Prabhu Gaya Jaya Deho More Para Jaya Deve ISKCON Vrindavan Deve ISKCON Vrindavan Prabhu Gaya Jaya Deho More Para Jaya Prabhupada Prabhu Gaya Jaya Deho More Para Jaya Deve ISKCON Vrindavan Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Gurudev Patita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nande Srila Prabhupada ki Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Uttare Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Krishna Prasthaya Uttare Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesa Sunyavare Paskatare Satarine Namaste Gauravani Pracharane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Jai Nityananda Jaya Nityananda Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So give them. When sing Jai Radha Madhav, give him the mic. Anand Govind, hold the mic for him.
Bihari
Madha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janam Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare सब लोग जोर से बोलिए Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare सब लोग जल्द से बोलिए Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Jaya Radha Summer Sundar Radha Summer Sundar Radhe Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balarama Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gorda Nitai, Jaya Gorda Nitai, Gorda Nitai, Jaya Gorda Nitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Bandamui Savadana Mate. Bandamui Savadana Mate. Yahara prasare bai he bhavatori ayai. Yahara prasare bai he bhavatori ayai. Krishna prapti hoya hoite. Krishna prapti hoya hoite. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriya Aikya. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriya Aikya. Arna Koriyo Mane Asha. Arna Koriyo Mane Asha. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati. Ye pasare pure sarva asha. Ye pasare pure sarva asha. Sagrana dilo ye janme janme Prabhu se. Chakrandilo ye dande dande Prabhu say. Devigan de pokashito. Devigan de pokashito. Prema bhakti ahoite avidya vindasayate. Prema bhakti ahoite avidya vindasayate. Vedagaya haracharito. Vedagaya haracharito. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Arvajanara Bandhu. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Arvajanara Bandhu. Lokena Lokera Jivana. Lokena Lokera Jivana. Prabhu Kaya Jaya, Deho More Para Jaya. Prabhu Kaya Jaya, Deho More Para Jaya. Eve Askusitu Bhuvana. Eve Askusitu Bhuvana. Prabhu Kaya Jaya, Deho More Para Jaya. Prabhupada. Prabhu Kaya Jaya, Deho More Para Jaya. Eve Askusitu Bhuvana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Gurudev Patita Pavana. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Sri Sri Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. श्री गुरु चरण पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा बंदो मोई सावधान मते बंदो मोई सावधान मते जाहर प्रसादे भाई ए भव तरिया जाय जाहर प्रसादे भाई ए भव तरिया जाय कृष्ण प्राप्ति है जहाँ है ते कृष्ण प्राप्ति है जहाँ ऐते गुरु मुख पद्मा वाक्या चित्ते ते कोरियायिका गुरु मुख पद्मा वाक्या चित्ते ते कोरियायिका आरना करिह मने आशा आरना करिह मने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिलो जेई जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ है ते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ है ते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय जहर चरिता वेद गाय जहर चरिता श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना आहा प्रभु को दया देह मोरे पद छाया आहा प्रभु को दया देह मोरे पद छाया एबेदास घोषु त्रिभुवना एबेदास घोषु त्रिभुवना श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावना श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावना आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया एबेदास घुषु त्रिभुवना एबेदास घुषु त्रिभुवना जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा श्रील प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा श्रील प्रभुपादा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरि 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 जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. बोलो बोलो। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. बोलो बोलो. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना जमुनातीर वनाचारी जमुनातीर वनाचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना जमुनातीरवनचारी जमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपद परमहंस प्रवचकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद शील अभय चरणानंद भक्ति वेदांत साईं महाराज शील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शील ठाकुर हरिदास की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा देवी की जय। यमुना मई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी रानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। इस्कॉन डीबीटी संस्थापक आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्री गौरनिताय की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री ललिता विशाखा सहित राधा श्याम सुंदर की जय। गौ प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jai Srila Prabhupada. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णे स्वधामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह कलौ नष्टदृशामेष पुराणार्को धुनोदितः। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। This is the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 25, and today we are reading text number 19. Correct? Iti uktva ekena hastena kritva govardhana achalam dadhara leelaya Vishnoho Chatrakam Iva Balakah Ityuktvaikena Hastena Kritva Govardhanachalam Dadhara Leelaya Vishnosh Chatrakam Iva Balakah Ityukvaitkena hastena Kritva Govardhanachalam Dadhara Leelaya Vishnu छत्राकमिव बालकः इत्युक्त्वैकेन हस्तेन कृत्वा गोवर्धनाचलं दधार लीलया विष्णोः छत्राकम् इव बालकः. Ladies, iti, thus, uktva, having spoken, ekena, with one, hastena, hand, kritva, taking, govardhana achalam, Govardhana hill, dadhara, he held it, Leelaya, very easily, Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, Chatrakam, a mushroom, Iva, just as, Balakaham, a child. Having said this, Lord Krishna, who is Vishnu himself, picked up Govardhan hill with one hand and held it aloft just as easily as a child holds up a mushroom. Kindly repeat. Having said this, Lord Krishna, who is Vishnu himself, picked up Govardhana hill with one hand and held it aloft just as easily as a child holds up a mushroom. Purport by the servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is confirmed in the Harivamsha that Sri Krishna picked up Govardhan mountain with his left hand. Sadhrita sangato meghair girihi savyena panina. With his left hand he picked up that mountain which was touching the clouds. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when Lord Krishna was preparing to lift Govardhan hill, a partial expansion of his Yoga Maya potency named Sanghariki temporarily removed all the rain from the sky, so that as he ran very swiftly from the porch of his house to the mountain, neither his turban nor other garments became wet. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shriyutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Madgavirapi Gopala Swikuryat Kripaya Yadi Tadaiva Sampayaha Pitva Hrishayustat Priyajanaha Ityuktva Ekena Hastena Kritva Govardhanachalam Tadhara Lilaya Vishnush Chatrakamiva Balakaha. Having said this, Lord Krishna, who is Vishnu himself, picked up Govardhana hill with one hand and held it aloft, just as easily as a child holds up a mushroom. We always like to begin by clarifying some definitions. Not every word in this verse may be familiar to everyone. Chatrakam. What does it mean? Mushroom. Those who are listening. So, just to be safe, I looked it up in the dictionary. As a neuter noun, it definitely means mushroom. But the interesting thing is that Monier Williams, the lexicographer, in order to justify that definition, he is referencing today's verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 25, text number 19. We like to know our definitions, and for definitions, Srila Prabhupada generally referred to the standard dictionaries, even in English. And certainly our acharyas are all referring to the various standard dictionaries in the Sanskrit language in order to justify what they're saying. But it's interesting, here we have only Sridhar Swami to refer to because he's the one who's defining this. Otherwise, chatraka means an umbrella. The words are very similar, and then of course it's used in the same way, as we'll see shortly. It can also mean mushroom as well. As a masculine noun, it sometimes means the babul tree. That's gum Arabic. But that again is coming from lexicographers only, not from the actual acharyas, who are the real authorities. This is an interesting note. Shilindra. What does shilindra mean? This is a common word, I think, even in modern Indian languages. Mushroom, again, neuter noun. As a masculine noun, all the other definitions, there are several of them, but they're all conjectural. They're all given by dictionary makers. So, okay. Sridhar Swami's commentary on this verse is very short. He says, Kritva utkritya. So, having done means having lifted, or having, utkritya is actually a little bit vague, even in Sanskrit. What does it mean? So his commentator, Vamshitara, he clarifies, utkritya, udhritya, means having lifted up. It's maybe obvious from the context, but just in case, our great acharyas like to make sure everything is very clear for us. And Chatrakam, he says it with Chilindram, which means the same thing. Like a mushroom that you lift up. Sanatana Goswami is the major commentary on today's verse. Actually, none of the other acharyas say very much that he doesn't say. So we'll just kind of go through his commentary very briefly. He says, having said this, Krishna picked up Govardhan hill with one hand and held it aloft just as easily as a child holds up a mushroom. It should be understood that he'd brought everyone near Govardhan already. When these huge clouds were coming up, that's when he knew what was going to happen. Krishna always knows. Someone was asking me the other day, it's a perennial question, and in fact one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples also asked him the same question. Is Krishna omniscient? If he knows everything, then where is our free will? Because he already knows what we're going to choose, which means we don't really have a choice. So either we have choice, or either we have free will, or Krishna is not omniscient in that case. Or Krishna is omniscient, but we don't have free will. It's a problem that troubles people from time to time. So some back and forth was there, and Prabhupada was explaining to him that, Krishna by his achintya shakti, this is always the answer for every question, or every debate. Because whatever you say about Krishna, the opposite is also true. That is just the nature of the absolute truth. And it says more about the limitations of logic than it says about Krishna's limitations, or the limitations of Krishna consciousness. So, Srila Prabhupada was discussing with this, and the disciple was not satisfied with the answers that Srila Prabhupada was giving. So finally Prabhupada, he just said, okay, then Krishna doesn't know. And that disciple eventually left Krishna consciousness naturally. So, Krishna knew that these clouds are going to appear, and when they first appeared, he brought everyone nearby Govardhan. Then he lifted up Govardhan hill with his left hand, and here he's quoting the Harivamsha, as we've heard from the purport already. Tesham samrakshanarthaya dhrito girivaro maya saunnakuta ite khyataha sarvataha shakra pujitaha. Means, I held up Govardhan hill in order to protect them. This is known as the Anakuta, and this is Shakra Pujita, worshipped by Indra. So Sanatana Goswami adds here that one can still see the impression left by the split, that when Krishna lifted up Govardhan hill, it left an impression on the ground, and he says if you go just north of Mansi Ganga, then you can see that impression. Of course, we don't see much north of Mansi Ganga if you go to Govardhan, but he says it's there. And we don't like to go too close to Govardhan because we're also nervous that we should not walk on Govardhan. But for anyone who's really curious, maybe you can try it out. The word Achalam, mountain, also indicates that the mountain did not move. Achalam. This is a common word for mountains. Neelachalam. If you're fond of Jagannath, you know this word. Neelachalam, the blue mountain. Sheshachalam, if you prefer Venkateshwara Balaji. Or so many achalams are there. So here we have Govardhanachalam. Krishna lifted this hill with ease, and he had his right hand on his waist. Sanatana Goswami makes another comment here that we see this in some ancient deity forms. Can anyone name a deity that is standing like this? Girivaradhari deity? Who's standing like this? Loudly, I can't hear. Srinathji, Ek. He's known in our Sampradaya as Gopal. Who else? Anyone? Anyone been to Giriraj Govardhan lately? Have you done parikrama? Have you seen Mansi Ganga? Did you visit Haridev by chance? Haridev is also in this form. Both of these are very, very ancient deities. Very, very old deities. It's said that Hari Dev in particular, he was worshipped even by the gopis. Confirmed. So, and of course this Srinathji also a very, very old deity. He was there even when Madhavendra Puri found him. He was already there. He had been worshipped before. So that's an interesting little thing that Sanatana Goswami adds here. So Krishna held out the mountain like a mushroom. And then he says, this shows that he did not go beyond the pastimes of his Balya period. Even though he's 7 at this point, he still has that nature, childish nature. Children will do things like this. They like to put their fingers in places that, they do everything. So, question, how could a small child hold up a mountain? This is the natural question everybody always asks. Answer is that he was Vishnu. It's pointed out here. The word Vishnu is used in this verse just to remind us. This Krishna, don't think like Indra, that he's just a little upstart cowherd. He's actually Vishnu. And he's about to prove it. Well, he's proving it at this point. So, he is most powerful in that form because of his inconceivable energy. We've already mentioned it. So, some versions have Krishna instead of the name Vishnu in this verse. They have variant readings as Krishna instead, but the meaning is of course the same. And then Sanatana Goswami says here that this is also mentioned in Vishnu Sahasranama. Anybody know the verse? Used to be that everybody knew Vishnu Sahasranama. Even North Indians, believe it or not. Anirdeshava Pushriman. Anybody know the second? Ameyatma Mahadri Drik. Mahadri. What is that Mahadri? What does Mahadri mean? Maha-adri. Adri is another name for Achala, mountain. Means big mountain. So which big mountain did he hold up? Govardhan Hill. No. Baladev Vidyabhushana disagrees. Acharyas, they sometimes have different opinions. So Baladev gives his opinion. It means Mandarachala mountain, because the Lord also held up the Mandarachala hill. In which form did he hold up Mandarachala mountain? Kurma, Kachaparupa. So he has an indescribable body, he's endowed with all wealth, and he's immeasurable, and he held up the huge mountain. This is from Vishnu Sahasranama. According to his desire, he held that mountain high in the sky. And Vaishampayana says in the Harivamsha, Sadhrita Sangato Meghaihi. This is also quoted. He held the mountain so that it touched the clouds. What a sight that must have been. Of course, the clouds were there because it was raining furiously. Apluto ayam girihi pakshair iti vidyadharoragaha gandharvapsarashchaiva vacho munchita sarvashaha. The mountain rose up with wings, as it were. The Vidyadharas, Uragas, Gandharvas, and Apsaras began praising it. So the mountain touched the clouds. This is a pastime, Sanatana Goswami says. He did this in order that all of Vraja could see very easily, so as to exhibit Govardhana's great beauty, and in order that he could hold it, that Krishna could hold it easily as well. When Krishna raised the mountain, a large stone separated from the middle of the lower portion of that hill and became situated in the middle of the hole that was left when Krishna raised it. Krishna then climbed upon that stone, and fixing the lower and middle portions of the mountain in his left hand, he held it up comfortably. Water was prevented from coming under the mountain by his Leela Shakti. So big mountain, Krishna's created a nice floor for him to stand on, strong, rock hard, and the rain can't get in because Krishna has also arranged that. That's what it's like when you're a God. We don't have any experience of that for the simple reason that none of us is God. Parasya shaktir vividhai vishriyate swabhaviki jnana bala kriyacha. Everything is taken care of by Krishna's, threefold. Jnana, Bala, Kriya Shaktis. Collectively we can say these are all his, in this case, his Leela Shaktis. So again he quotes Harivamsha, Sadhrita Sangato Megaya, we've also mentioned twice. Giri Savyena Panina Griha Bhavam Tatastatra Grihakarena Varshasa. This is interesting. He held the mountain up to the clouds with his left hand, and it became like a house, like a mansion, with the form of a splendid house. Varchasa. Very, you can just picture underneath Govardhan Hills, pillared palace, jewel encrusted, better than the Taj Mahal. And, crystal chandeliers and everything was there for the comfort of the Vrajavasis, which was all arranged by his Parasya Shaktir Vividha, his various Leela potencies. We heard in yesterday's verse already, why is Krishna doing this? Only for his devotees. Well, let's continue with Sanatana Goswami's commentary. He held the mountain in his left hand to make the people happy, with the understanding that it was not tiring for him, since they were only interested in his happiness with no regard for their own lives, especially the elders, particularly Yashoda. She's in anxiety all day long, every day. That's why when she went to one Brahmin, sage, she was advised, you should probably worship Chinta Haran Mahadeva. Those of you who have been to Gokul, you know, Chinta Haran Mahadeva. What does it mean? Chinta Haran. He removes anxieties. This is the example given by the Vrajavasis also. When we have anxieties, we should also approach an advanced devotee and take advice. What should I do? So she was advised, you worship Chinta Haran Mahadev. He'll take care of everything. Chinta. Chinta means anxiety. Of course, it means other things also. I saw on a wall once here in Vrindavan, it was written in Hindi, Chinta mat kara, chintana kijiye. Don't be in anxiety, just meditate on Krishna instead. Play on words. So, they were only interested in his happiness, especially those in following Yashoda. And they had no regard for their own lives. Otherwise, they would all die because of great sorrow. How can they see this? We could all be smashed, but mainly Krishna could be smashed. This is their fear. That's why the cowherd men and the boys even, they were trying to help. Just like children. When the mother is in the kitchen, the children come and pull on her sari and say, we want to help. And every mother knows, what kind of help is it? So these cowherd boys, they're like little children compared to Vishnu. We're reminded here that he's Vishnu. Well, what can they do? But yes, the mother gives them something to play with as if it's important. So Krishna is also allowing the cowherd men and the boys to help here. And that in this way their minds and their hearts were pacified. Otherwise they would die. So this should be understood in connection with other pastimes as well. This is Sanatana Goswami's conclusion. Jiva Goswami doesn't comment here. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the BBT purport is essentially paraphrasing his, but he mentions here that Krishna blocked the Samvartaka clouds, created this living space in the form of a house underneath, and he deputed his Yogamaya expansion, Sanghariki, to remove all the rain from the sky so that everybody could get there safely. And then once they're nicely ensconced in this beautiful palace, then he allowed everything to go on. This is Krishna's wonderful potency. And he didn't even get a drop of water. Other acharyas have said some things, but nothing really new here. Viragavacharya, Vijayadwaj Tirtha, they're all saying the same thing. Okay. So this Govardhan Leela, it's described in various shastras. It's, of course, first and foremost here in the Bhagavatam. It's also described in the Vishnu Purana, secondary favorite source for the Vaishnavas, especially the Sri Vaishnavas. We find a mention of it in the Brahma Purana, Balacharita, chapters 78 through 80. We find Vishnu Purana was fifth book, chapters 10 through 12. Brahma Vaivarta Purana, also Krishna Janmakhanda, chapter 21. Harivamsha, which we've already quoted, chapters 59 through 62. And Sanatana Goswami in his Dashama Charita, also known as Sri Krishna Lilastava, he's described it as obeisance number 59. And it's also in the Anand Vrindavan Champu, I think it's chapter 15. So Brahma Purana says, Etat kritam mahindrena mahabhanga virodhina tad etarakhilam goshtham tratavyam adhunamaya. Krishna is thinking, this rain, this problem for the Vrajavasis, as we heard about yesterday. Krishna is a little bit concerned about his devotees, and he's thinking, this has been done by the great Indra out of anger over our stopping his sacrifice. Now, therefore, I have to protect the entire cowherd community. Imamadrimaham viryat utpatyoru shilatalam dharayashyami goshthasya prituchatramivopari. Uprooting this hill with its extensive rock base, by my prowess I will hold it high over the community of cowherds, just like a broad umbrella. And then Vyas says, Iti kritva matim krishno govardhana mahidharam utpatyaiva karenaiva dharyam asalilaya. So deciding, Krishna uprooted Govardhan hill with one hand only and sportingly lifted it. The Vishnu Purana and the Brahma Purana, they say essentially the same thing, almost verbatim. There's only a couple of words are different here and there, not significant enough to even mention. Brahma Vaivarta Purana says also, Harir dadhara shailam tam vama hastena dandavat. And there it's depicted a little differently. Lord Krishna lifted Govardhan hill as if it were a twig. Again, insignificant thing. In his 59th obeisance that Sanatana Goswami offers, in his summarization of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, known as Dashama Charita, or Sri Krishna Lila Stava, the 59th stava goes like this. Janitendra Rusham Shakra Mada Vrishti Shamonmukham Govardhanachalo Dhartas Tvam Vande Adbhuta Vikramam. You provoked Indra's anger and stood ready to quell the rain that he sent in his fury. O lifter of Govardhan hill, I offer my respects to you, performer of wonderful deeds. Lila Govardhanadhara Vrajaraksha Parayana Bhujananto Pari Nyasta Kshma Nibha Kshma Bhriduttama. That means, instead of I'm intent on protecting the Vrajavasis, you playfully held Govardhan overhead. That best of the mountains rested in your hand like the earth atop Lord Ananta. Govardhana Chhatradanda Bhujargal Mahabala Saptaha Vidhitradrindra Megha Vahana Garbhabhit. That means, with your arm strong as a door bolt, you supported the umbrella of Govardhan hill, O mighty one, holder of the king of mountains, for 7 days, destroyer of the pride of the cloud carrier Indra. Saptahaika parasthayan vrajatshutrit nirikshana jaya bhagnendra sankalpa mahavarshani varana. You stood in one place for a week, and with your glance dispelled the hunger and thirst of the Vrajavasis. With your glance. He can eat with his glance, he can also quell our hunger with his glance. Victory to you who thwarted Indra's plan and stopped the mighty rainfall. Swasthana sthapita gire gopi dadhi akshatarshita devata sunamo vrishti sikta vasava bhishana. When you put the hill back in its right place, the gopis worship you with yogurt and parched rice, and the demigods poured upon you a shower of flowers. You struck fear into Indra. This is how Sanatana Goswami worships this activity of Krishna, lifting of Govardhan Hill. Kavi Karnapur, naturally, he also has something very beautiful, poetic to say. He, in his Anand Vrindavan Champu, he says, as the relisher of nectarian rasas, Krishna has a beautiful body, which is as sweet as the honey in a flower, nectar. Without even tightening his cloth, he showed complete indifference to the mighty wrath of foolish Indra. Instantly, as Prabhupada says this in his Krishna book translation, when Indra saw what Krishna was doing after 7 days, Indra finally got the idea. It's not going to work. A little bit like Jarasandha, but it took Jarasandha 17 times. How long is it taking us? So, after 7 days, Indra finally got the idea, and in spite of the fact that he was throwing this devastating rainfall all over Vraj and just really torturing the living entities there, Krishna was just not really that concerned about it. I mean, he was concerned about it, but it wasn't a problem for him. He didn't even bother to tighten his cloth. When he jumped into the Yamuna off of the branch of the Kadama tree just around the corner, we recall, if we're thinking about these things, that Krishna had to tighten his cloth first. Here he didn't even have to do that. So he showed complete indifference to the mighty wrath of this foolish Indra. Prabhupada writes in Krishna book, when Indra saw this, Indra was thunderstruck. Krishna instantly picked up Govardhana Hill with one hand and held it aloft with no more effort than a child takes to hold a mushroom or an elephant uses to lift a clump of grass. Many loud sounds echoed in all directions when the mountain rose into the air. Can you imagine? The lifting of Govardhan Hill produced an angry loud noise that crushed the pride of the elephants guarding the 8 directions. That furious sound roamed around and around within the covering of the universe, means it echoed everywhere throughout the universe. The flowers falling from the trees that were on Govardhan, that is, appeared to be the form of Giriraja's ecstatic laughter due to being touched by Krishna's lotus hands. Just like Yad Rama Krishna Charanas Parasha Pramoda, same idea. He was just delighted to be held up by Krishna's hand. And all these flowers are falling as the mountain is being lifted. It's like the laughter of the Giriraj. So, those falling flowers seem to be Girirajas celebrating the destruction of Indra's fame. Growing higher and higher, the sharp peaks of Giriraj cut the ominous cloud cover to pieces. The row of trees along the peaks of Giriraj challenged the trees in Indra's celestial forest. The lions living on top of Govardhan Hill mistook the hovering clouds for elephants. Using their powerful sharp claws, they ripped apart that cluster of elephant clouds. You've seen what cats do, right? The lions were also. In fear, the clouds ran hither and thither. Seeing Krishna holding Giriraj aloft with his left hand, Mount Kailash shivered in fright while thinking, "Look, who is this covering the sky? How could this happen?" Mount Sumeru panicked. Overwhelmed by fear, the elephants of the directions jumped into the Mansi Ganga. Giriraj served Gokula as a jewel-bedecked umbrella that could not be moved by the fierce winds or pierced by the razor-sharp lightning bolts of Indra. Balanced on the beautiful emerald pole of Krishna's raised arm, Giriraj cast a pleasing radiance upon everyone. The glimmering rain shower coming on all sides seemed just like streams of dripping pearls off the sides of the mountain, the rainwater. He says it just seemed like strings of pearls. While holding Giriraj in one hand, Krishna, whose wonderful behavior illuminates the world, spoke convincingly to the cowherd community. "O mother, do not be in anxiety. Father, Don't worry. Oh friends, don't doubt my ability. Giridhaj will not fall from my hand. You directly saw how he personally accepted our worship. Is it then difficult for him to remain suspended in the sky? Although Giriraj appears to be a huge immovable mountain, he is transcendentally situated beyond the doubts and comprehension of this material world. Look how light he is. Even a child like me can easily pick him up. Oh, just see, Giriraj is completely independent and moving according to his own sweet will. In this matter, I'm just an instrument, Krishna says. Therefore, you should collect all your property and come under the mountain. There's no difference between the village of Vrindavan and this valley below Giriraj. So it's not just a mansion below Giriraj. The whole valley is there, it would seem. Be happy and stay here peacefully. At the end of the kalpa, everyone in creation gives up their gross bodies and lives within the abdomen of Narayana in their subtle bodies. But there you can't enjoy as much as you can by living here within the belly of Giriraj. Giriraj ki. When I lifted Govardhan hill, huge chunks of earth fell off the bottom and formed a natural boundary wall around the perimeter of Giriraj. Everyone in India knows when you're laying claim to some land, first thing you have to do is build a wall. So Krishna is also doing this. That will keep out the torrential rains. Forget about your pleasure gardens and your attachments to your former residences. Let this place become the source of joyful pastimes for all the cows, gopas, and gopis. This is another thing, that when Krishna lifts Govardhan hill, everybody is pleased by that. And it's Krishna's purpose to do so. That's why Kavi Karnapur, in the beginning of this description, he reminds us, who is Krishna? Krishna is the relisher of all the rasas, and the nourisher of all the rasas as well. Cowherd boys were enlivened, the servants were enlivened, the parents were enlivened, the gopis were enlivened, everyone. So see, these are some of the sources. Now, we're saving the best for the last, and then I can end. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, chapter 7, text number 32, Srila Prabhupada has given us a wonderful translation and purport. Gopair makhe pratihate vraja viplavaya deve bhivarshati pashun kripaya ridakshuho dharato chinindrameva sapta denani sapta varsho mahindra manakhai kakare salilam. What does it mean? When the cowherd men of Vrindavan, under the instructions of Krishna, stopped offering sacrifice to the heavenly king, Indra, the whole tract of land known as Vraja, was threatened with being washed away by constant, heavy rains for 7 days. Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy upon the inhabitants of Vraja, held up the hill known as Govardhana with one hand only, although he was only 7 years old. He did this to protect the animals from the onslaught of water. He protect the animals. We've mentioned already, he's protecting his devotees, but that includes the animals. So, especially the cows. He's so concerned, as Prabhupada writes elsewhere. Cows, Brahmins, devotees, these are important to Krishna. But the cows are actually the most important. That's why it's called Goloka, or even Gokula also. It's cow world. Goloka. So, now in his purport, Prabhupada writes, children play with an umbrella generally known as a frog's umbrella. This is a term that you'll get in Srila Prabhupada's books, I think, only. I don't hear it anywhere else. But it's terribly cute. Frog's umbrella. Classic Srila Prabhupada. And Lord Krishna, when he was only 7 years old, could snatch the great hill known as Govardhan Parvat at Vrindavan and hold it for 7 days continuously with one hand, just to protect the animals and the inhabitants of Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra the heavenly king, who had been denied sacrificial offerings by the inhabitants of Vrajabhumi. Factually, there's no need of offering sacrifices to the demigods for their services if one is engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. So this we know. And this is in fact Krishna's whole purpose in performing this Giriraj Govardhan Leela. He doesn't like for devotees to get distracted. For other people it's good. We don't discourage if that's as much as somebody can do. Joshayet sarva karmani. But for the devotees, and especially those who have some inclination for Vraja Bhakti, Krishna doesn't want that they get distracted like this. That's one thing. Another point that Prabhupada makes is that even Krishna's only 7, whether he's 7 or whether he's 16 or whether he's 125 years, he can still do all the same things. These are the transcendental features of Krishna's body. And then for the general people, Srila Prabhupada writes also in his purport to 2nd Canto, Chapter 9, Text 32. The Lord has unlimited numbers of transcendental qualities, and one of them is his affection for his unalloyed devotee. We mentioned this already. This is the whole point, Krishna's whole point. For us, the whole point is Krishna's Inshinja Shakti, but for Krishna, the whole point is his affection for his devotees. And Prabhupada writes, in the history of the mundane world, we can appreciate his transcendental qualities. The Lord incarnates himself for the protection of his devotees and for the annihilation of the faithless. His activities are in relationship with his devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of such activities of the Lord in relationship with his devotees. Bhagavata Purana means the devotee Purana. And the non-devotees have no knowledge of such pastimes. The Lord lifted the Govardhan hill when he was only 7 years old and protected his pure devotees at Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra, who was overflooding the place with rain. Now, this lifting of Govardhan hill by a 7-year-old boy may be unbelievable for the faithless. But for the devotees, it's absolutely believable. The devotee believes in the almighty potency of the Lord, while the faithless say that the Lord is almighty, but don't believe it. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge do not know that the Lord is eternally, the Lord is the Lord eternally, and that one cannot become the Lord by meditation, etc., etc. So the point here being, we have to have faith in Lord Krishna's inconceivable potency. Now when Prabhupada is talking about inability to place faith in Krishna, just replace the word Krishna with Guru, or the Guru's instructions, and think about the ramifications, because this is what it really comes down to practically for us. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado. And we heard yesterday that Srila Prabhupada did impossible things. Krishna arranged impossible situations so that he could empower Prabhupada to do them anyways. This is what we need to aspire to, or at least cognize and respect. And therefore, we can say that it's all about the devotees. So, I'm going to stop here because the time is up, but if anybody has any questions or any comments, we can, maybe in a few minutes we can discuss.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Nice. Krishna held the mountain for 7 days, and we come across this period of 7 days a few places in Bhagavatam. Does it mean Krishna held the mountain for 7 days, and we come across this period of 7 days at a few places in Bhagavatam, like Parikshit, Maharaja Parikshit was given 7 days. And does it have a significance in terms of a cycle of time or a period of time? Does that mean?
7 days. Is there some special significance to the 7-day period?
Yes.
I'm not aware of it. maybe someone else, if anyone wants to comment on that. You know something? Oh, okay. And Nahito, there's another question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So my question is, I'm always wondering what happened to all that water that was coming down, like the torrential rains. Like, what happened? Where did that all go?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. Well, this is what the Leela Shakti is for, as we've already described. He can dry it up so that Krishna can go in, and he's also able to dry it up when they all come out again. So that's what you're able to do when you have Parasya Shakti Vividha. So we don't know this because we don't have this potency. And Krishna, it's no problem. He can do anything and everything. That's the whole point, I said. For us, the whole point is, the Achintya Shakti. We have to get this. Then we don't have any problems with our faith anymore. And then once we have no more problems with our faith, then we become pure devotees easily. Adaushadatyadi. And then once we're pure devotees, then it's actually in Krishna's mind all about us. And he'll do anything for us. He'll do the impossible. Durghata ghatana vidhatri, Rupa Goswami says. Durghata ghatana vidhatri means you're the person who is able to do impossible things. You make the impossible possible. Rupa Goswami says in his beautiful prayer, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Very, very beautiful prayer. Only Rupa Goswami could write such a thing. So, yeah, this is Krishna's Achintya Leela Shakti again. Okay? Nothing else then we can... Okay, Apurva Prabhu. He says he doesn't need a microphone. Yeah, Prabhupada mentions. In chapter 8 of the first canto, Prabhupada also, in chapter 8, text 19, I think, Maya Javanika Chandam, Kunti Devi's prayer, there also he mentions that it is a frog's umbrella. This is Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada. We love Prabhupada's books for these reasons. It's just... Yeah, so your question. He needs the microphone. Right here. Green kurta. Yes.
So I was just wondering if you could speak a little bit more about that. What is a frog's umbrella?
Okay, yeah, I looked it up just to be sure. Yeah, it's a mushroom. It maybe is one of these antiquated English sayings that Prabhupada throws at us once in a while. Frog's umbrella definitely means a mushroom. Because you can picture a little frog underneath the thing, right? And he's, so frog's umbrella. The spiritual world is full of such quaint things when you have the eyes of love, as Prabhupada does. Okay. So we'll stop here then. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Bolo 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama